G. Baay, a teacher applicant in a junior high school. This time I will be demonstrating my skills, which is a basic computer literacy. At this time, since we're experiencing the crisis brought by the COVID-19 for the past 2 years. So our educational system also changed in how we deliver our quality of education towards our students. So definitely we come up of having remedies. It depends on the school's implementation. But for most of the schools in the country are into modular, but some also chose to have this blended learning modality. It could be online at the same time modular. So this time, I'll have to edit on how the teacher is being discussed. It seems like inside a classroom setup, but then using the technology. Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to our virtual class for today. Now, before we start our lesson, let me ask you this question. Have you been invited to be a speaker, or have you been perform a speech before an audience? Well, our topic this morning is about oral communication, and we will be deepening our lessons about our master skills or in language skills. Okay, so before that, let me ask you this question again. What is language? Everything that we have comes from language. Without language, we are no longer existing because language serves as the backbone of our living. Now, there is one person who describes language. According to Webster, language as expression and communication of emotions or ideas between human beings by means of speech, hearing, that is systematized and confirmed by usage among given people over a period of time. Now, as he said, language has two functions. First, we have to express how one feels, or it simply pertains to our emotions. Second is to express how one thinks, or it also pertains to our ideas. Now, these two functions of language involves when we communicate. Now, to express how one feels, so how would we be able to know if that person is mad or happy the way he communicates if there's no emotion? It also oversees or views through our physical expressions and gestures. To express how one thinks, it pertains to our ideas. The things that, or the words comes from our mouth, comes from our brain. Next is we have the same person, Webster, defined language into two important factors. First is language involves into speaking. Second, involves into listening. So when we say speaking, it pertains to speech. When we say listening, it pertains to our hearing. So with speaking simply describes to our communication skills, our skills to communicate. Then listening, it also involves our listening skill. Now, he also emphasized that language is systematized. Okay, so what is systematized? This means that language has grammar that follows certain rules and system, which is true. So say for example in English language, we are following the subject-verb agreement, enabled for us to come up with universal grammar, to be able to understand with our communicators from sender to receiver. Even our own dialect, we have also followed certain rules and systems. Next, he also mentioned earlier that language is a period of time. Now, when we say period of time, this can be interpreted as language changes as we go through the time. So, which is actually correct, because there are some words are no longer existed this 21st century, but there are also additional or new form words that we are using, especially jargons, colloquialisms, and those certain professionals in their profession. Then, according to him, language is immeasurable. So when we say immeasurable, we can say that we cannot measure how language form or how language affects our lives. Language is also has its boundaries and with no vast exchange. So when we say vast, means it's large. Okay, so we cannot identify how great the language is when it comes to our daily lives as we communicate to our friends, to our family, or even to our work or schools. Then language range is limitless. Okay, so there's no limit at all. Language creates even the hardest inventions. Okay, so since the beginning, creators used language for them to communicate and to survive. And up until now,